What's up, everybody? It's just a little talk about what's going on at the top of the blogs, so let's get to it. My last top of the blogs, I told you guys about Frank Ocean and his decision to come out of the closet and let all of us know that he is bisexual. Turns out that the letter that he put out for everyone to read was supposed to be added into the CD liner notes of his new CD Channel Orange that was scheduled to come out on July 17th. Well, after performing on Jimmy Fallon, soon after that, he decided to release his CD a week early to iTunes, the digital version only, and everyone was able to get their hands on it, you know, a week earlier, including myself, which is it's a good CD, very different. Doesn't sound like much of anything, kind of has every now and then, kind of reminds you of Music Soul Child, but just different, refreshing, you know, especially compared to the bullshit that they play today. But anyway, Target made the decision that since he decided to put his CD out early, that they were not going to carry his CD and they were not going to sell it. And their reasoning is just something that has to do with the fact that he put it out a week earlier. We're all kind of crying foul on this one because we know that Target has been known to have issues with the gay community in the past. You know, a lot of artists have spoken out on Target, including like Lady Gaga and some other folks. I don't know, you guys. I guess maybe the powers that be at Target are some very conservative, you know, rigidly Christian-based faith believers. They just don't really seem to have much tolerance for the gay community. Now, of course, they're saying that this has nothing to do with the fact that he was, you know, came out bisexual, and you know, they don't really care that he's got a song or two on there that might be directed towards men, but I think that we all probably don't believe that. Ultimately, I don't think it's going to affect his sales too much because everybody else will just go somewhere else to buy the CD. Y'all just go on to Walmart and pick it up. Supposedly, Nene Kandi came to blows as they're filming their newest season of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Nothing has been confirmed. I saw this on one of the blogs this morning. There aren't any pictures of it. There's no videos of it. And, you know, nobody is talking about it on Twitter, which is the holy grail around here, if y'all know what I'm saying. Twitter is still the devil, though. Nobody is confirming the showdown, but the rumor is that it did happen, that the producers have no intentions of cutting it from the show. You know, in this next coming season, that we'll all get to see that, see it. It's not going to end up on the editing room floor. I really hope that this is not true because you guys know I love Kandi, and I was just getting around to really liking Nene again because she just looked like she was ready to move on from bullshit and she was about making her money. And I think that this is not going to be a good look for her if it is true. Really for neither one of them, but especially for Nene, because she's trying to be taken seriously in the, you know, the whole acting community. There's rumors that, you know, not many actors have much respect for her. So she don't need this kind of carrying on. We are too old for this fight, and let's hope that it's not true. Queen Latifah was on The View the other day, and she told Barbara Walters that she was sort of in the process of adopting a child. Queen Latifah, who's never been linked to any man that I know of and has been rumored to have been in a long-term relationship with, you know, fitness trainer to the stars, Jeanette Jenkins, hasn't said whether or not it's going to be a boy or a girl that she's adopting, but you know, it looks like it's really about to happen. She's going to have a boy or a girl soon enough. It was so interesting on The View because, you know, whenever you're talking about kids and adopting and all this, it's always kind of this, it's a real delicate dance around why you haven't gotten pregnant, you know, why don't you get pregnant instead of adopting and all this. And, you know, I could tell that Barbara Walters was really not trying to ask her all that because, you know, we all been trying to, you know, this whole rumor about her being gay and everything. They didn't want to mention that. But, you know, Queen Latifah has just said that it's always been her wish to bring home a child. Didn't matter where it came from, if it was natural or adopted. So, good luck to you, Queen and Jeanette. A few months back, I remember seeing pictures of Chris Brown as he left the courthouse. And he had just been finished being commended for his wonderful adherence to, you know, his probation, which meant that he had to do anger management, counseling, as well as community service. The judge was like, he's doing everything that he's supposed to be doing. He's stand-up citizen, you know, blah, 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 blah. Well, it looks like now the courts is really not really sure exactly what he's been doing. Now they want to see the logs. They haven't been receiving the logs of his community service. He was sentenced to, I don't even know if that's the right word, but he was told that he had to do 180 days of community service, which, you know, was like graffiti removal and, you know, trash pickup on the side of the road and, you know, other types of manual labor, you know, things that they give people that, you know, are trying to work off some sort of charge. Just the other day, Chris Brown painted a really large mural of graffiti art on the walls of some community center, and he's really talented as a, you know, a painter, graffiti artist. I'm sure that took some days to complete, but not 180 days, so the court is like, come on up off them papers. Let's hope that he's been doing what he's supposed to be doing, because, you know, that boy don't need no more bad press. Basketball Wives LA is back on the scene, you guys. Everybody is filming again. They are filming for the new season, and that is evident in the blogs because all you see are pictures of the girls, you know, out on the town, out shopping, you know, out hanging out, having drinks, whatever. It's starting to, you know, the publicity machine is fully in tow. Supposedly because of last season and how the girls was all kind of pissed off at Jackie the way she acted, they have decided this season that they are not going to film with her. Which to me, like, kind of sucks. Like, I understand in real life, you know, if you don't want to deal with somebody, you just wouldn't be around them. And so that's, I'm sure, the stance that they're taking in these reality shows. But the other part of me is like, you guys are on a show. This is a cast that's been put together. It seems like you guys would interact now. If everybody decides that they don't want to work with Jackie, then what is going to happen to Jackie? Quite frankly, I don't want to see a show of the other girls. You know, who wants to sit up there and look at Gloria, Laura, Imani, is that her name? I don't even remember her name. Imani and what's the other one? Malaysia. You know, who wants to look at them for a whole hour? Now, I would look at Drea. Drea seems like she was an interesting enough girl to me. She could have had her own show, I think. But the four of them other girls, like, no, nobody want to see them. So if they don't have anybody, if they don't have Jackie to bounce off of, what is that show really going to be about? After Jam Master Jay was killed in his studio some years ago, you know, Run DMC had come out and said that they weren't going to do any more work together because they felt like Jam Master Jay, who was their DJ, was irreplaceable. Now it looks like some years later that maybe it was spoken out of emotions, or maybe it wasn't even said. It could have just been a rumor. But Run DMC has decided that they're going to get back together. Their first performance back together is going to be them performing at some festival called Fun Festival in Texas. You know, somewhere towards the end of this year. Now, you guys, I loved me some Run DMC back in the day, and but I am really wondering how they're going to be accepted into the whole music scene today. Now, not to say that they don't have the skills. I'm sure they're still able to do what they used to do, but it's just going to be interesting, especially with you know, Rev Run's newfound lease on life. You know, of course, some of the subject matter is not going to be as hardcore as it used to be. And you know, DMC's voice, y'all know he has like voice issues. His voice when he talks is cold, you know, it's way up like this, and it's because of him yelling and screaming and putting tremendous strain on his voice when he would perform live, screaming out the lyrics to his to their rap songs. So it's gonna be interesting to see these two back together again. What do you guys think? I'd like to see a successful comeback, especially with the music that's out today, but am I being too nostalgic? Am I really not looking at the big picture? Do you guys really think that people are checking for Run DMC like that? Mary J. Blige and D'Angelo have linked up and with Live Nation and announced the other day that they are going to be doing the Liberation Tour. It's going to be a strange mix, considering that Mary J. Blige is more, you know, more of our R&B kind of hip-hop-ish artist, and D'Angelo is more neo-soul, funk. I wouldn't really put him as R&B. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting mix, but I think it'll still be a cool enough concert. I don't really know what they're gonna sing because I don't think that many of us like too many of Mary J. Blige's last few albums. I can't even remember the last album of hers that I really bought and enjoyed. I don't know what's going on with Mary's CDs. I still love Mary though, still love Mary. And D'Angelo, you guys know he's been out of the game for 12 years. So, but you know, both of them together have plenty of music that they can draw from and that they can play and that everybody will be really happy to see. But so that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping that they play a lot of their old music that everybody can just sit down and groove to, and then, you know, sprinkle some of their new stuff in, you know, periodically. I'm just happy to see some of the artists that I grew up with coming back on the scene, because this new stuff, for real? Waka Flocka Flame was on tour with Drake, and he was sending all of his hard-earned money that he made back home to his mom, Deb Adney. Deborah Adney is also his manager, and so he was trusting her to take care of his money, you know, and put it wherever it needed to go so that it would be safekeeping for when he got back in town. Well, it looks like Deb had different plans for that money, and instead of her putting it up for safekeeping, she was spending it. And it's rumored that she spent up all his $350,000. Now, wouldn't you be mad? They're saying that she bought expensive purses and shoes and, you know, kind of just fucked off the rest of the money. And Waka was mad enough to fire his mother. He didn't even know about it until one of his other staff members had told him that his mother had spent his money. He's threatening to sue his mom, and I just think the whole thing is unfortunate. It's just like, man, if you can't trust your mama, then who in this world really got your back? We all know that just this past week on July 4th, Evelyn got married to the love of her life, Chad, in St. Martin. At first, nothing was coming out, but now we're starting to see pictures of, you know, them at the wedding. And, you know, slowly but surely, pictures are leaking out of the wedding and all the festivities that surrounded the wedding. No pictures have surfaced of her Basketball Wives cast, and really no pictures will surface because none of them was there other than Susie and Shawnee. Quite noticeably, Tami was not there, and considering the fact that they were ace boon coons all last season, it raised a few eyebrows. Shawnee, as usual, didn't give up any information as to why Tami wasn't there, and instead said that, you know, St. Martin is a faraway place, and, you know, she didn't want to speak as to why Tami was not at the wedding, which is fine. There may not be nothing to it. Maybe Tami just couldn't make it and made other plans, but what do you guys think? Do you think it's because of, you know, Tami's over-the-top bullying dramatics of last season, and the way she treated some of the girls? Do you think that Evelyn is trying to distance herself as she tries to better herself in our views? Do you think that there's some sort of rift in their friendship? Charlamagne the God is a well-known, very popular radio personality somewhere in New York. I think it's Hot 97. I know who Charlamagne the God is, but I don't really have much dealings with Charlamagne the God because they don't play him in Atlanta and they never played him in Los Angeles. So I never really have heard him talk, but I know of him because you know, he's sort of like the shock jock for black folks. He used to work with Wendy Williams, and I think that's where he got like his big break. And you know, Wendy Williams, when she left the radio and went to TV, of course she was the same way as Charlamagne the God, if you ask me. And she had to tone that way down when she got on television because she had been pissed off a lot of people in the industry, and she had to get it together. Anyway, because of Charlamagne the God's, you know, abrasive tone, you know, kind of tell it like it is, say whatever is on his mind, you know, a lot of times very rude personality, he has rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, I'm sure, over the years. I don't know if he really cares too much about that because he continues on and it seemed to work for him. He's been successful. The other day when he was on his way to work, somewhere around 5 o'clock in the morning, some guy walked up to him outside of the radio station and said that, you know, he wanted him to shout him out on the radio. And whatever happened, Charlamagne, you know, declined and all of that and went on about his business. A couple of days later, looks like the same guy was at the radio station with a bunch of his friends, and they was prepared to jump Charlamagne and videotape it. I just want to say, like, what is really going on? Like, why do people want to go and beat up somebody and then videotape it? The Game just recently did it, and there was another video of somebody getting jumped, or, you know, somebody trying to jump somebody else. It just doesn't make sense, okay? Because if they had been successful, they would have put out evidence of them fighting somebody. Like, you know, what more do you need? I know that there is just their way of trying to make somebody look stupid, or, you know, kind of make him take some of his street cred away because he got beat up by a bunch of people on the street. Charlamagne was smart enough to get the hell out of Dodge, and they did not get to jump him, and you know, they were unsuccessful. With all this happening though, I have always said to myself, like, wow, I was wondering when somebody was really going to try to beat his ass, especially today. You know, it's just not like how it used to be. People are really willing to you know, in this whole age of reality TV and people not really aware of the consequences of their actions, or not caring about the consequences, you know, everybody wants to just get the beat up on video and put it out for everybody to see. That's a dangerous time for Charlamagne and people like him who are just so outspoken. There's, you know, I'm just kind of feeling like this is probably the beginning of, you know, more and more people feeling like they can come for him like that. So I'm concerned for him. I'm concerned for his safety. He doesn't seem to be too worried about it. So I'm just going, you know, I'm just going to leave it alone. He need to be concerned because folks out here crazy. All right, you guys, that's it. We do this every week. Make sure you rate, comment, and subscribe, and make sure you come back.